Well, folks, SmackDown was a bit of a mess last night, I'm not gonna lie. We started off with Solo Sikoa, US Champ Jacob Fatu, and Jeff Cobb, who is now going for some unknown reason by JC Mateo. Which is a little bit interesting and weird because at Backlash last week, Michael Cole said, "It's Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is here, one of the biggest free agents, Jeff Cobb." And they're like, "Oh, no. We're going to call him JC Mateo." Okay, you do that. But obviously, we started off with these three in the ring, and Solo Sikoa just kept going on, bigging himself up like he has done for the past, God knows, nearly a year now, since Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. And he's just going on, "I'm going to bring the World Championship back to this family. I'm the one who's made Jacob keep the US Championship." And it's like, whoa. We are obviously seeing the building of a feud, of an inner turmoil between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And with this, as you can see in this image by here, Jacob Fatu grabbed the mic and just like, "Nah, who do you think you are? I'm the reason the US Championship is still here. I'm the one who beat LA Knight. I'm the one who beat Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. I am the one who has kept gold in this family." And with this, it was so good to see because the fans, you can just tell they are 100 million% behind Jacob. Everything he was saying, they were copying and they were just screaming and just, hollering for him. And obviously, for Solo, well, they were booing and just screaming the hell out of him. But with all of this, as Solo was trying to get Jacob to say that he loved him, LA Knight's music hit, and he actually blindsided JC. They were looking at the entrance, the music's playing, the video's on, and Jacob, he's like, "Come on, where are you?" And JC, at the back of the ring, just gets taken out, pulled out of the ring by LA Knight, who slams him on the table, and he makes haste through the crowd. Which, obviously, we're like, right, okay then. The Bloodline tried to get their composure back, but it didn't really work. It was an okay opening, but it didn't really seem to go anywhere important, just apart from sprinkling the seed of the future feud between Jacob and Solo Sikoa. But that's what we got, and it's obvious that Solo Sikoa is going to go on and more than likely win the men's Money in the Bank. Our first match of the evening, folks, was a triple threat qualifier for the person to go into the females' Money in the Bank ladder match. We had Alexa Bliss taking on Michin and taking on Chelsea Green. Before the match started as well, we actually got something rather interesting backstage from Michin and B-Fab. Michin was like, when I win Money in the Bank, I am going to use the contract so we can get a tag team title shot. Now with this, it's a very interesting segue basically, because of all the Money in the Banks we've had, literally going back as far as WrestleMania, or was it WrestleMania 24, 25? No, earlier than that. I think it was WrestleMania 21 in 2005, where every person who's won a Money in the Bank has gone on to go for the Women's Championship, or the World Heavyweight Championship, or the WWE Universal Championship. That was until 2022, when Austin Theory actually cashed in his Money in the Bank to win the US Championship. So if Michin does win it, and she goes after the tag titles with B-Fab, that's going to be something pretty special because we haven't seen that before. But it's all good, and it's always fun to see new ways for the contract to be used instead of just going, "Oh, this person's going to get a push to singles competition." But with the match though, folks, it was very entertaining, as it always is whenever you have Chelsea Green, Alexa Bliss, and Michin involved in any match. It's always fun. Sadly though, the match was very short, and with that, we did get Alexa Bliss getting the 1-2-3 after she hit Sister Abigail on Chelsea Green. But Chelsea Green, this girl is just phenomenal, and I say it each and every week. She is the best female talent. Well, actually, she's the best talent at the moment, I think, on screen for mic work and just for making segments absolutely hilariously entertaining. She is so good at doing that. But she wasn't wearing her usual red, white and blue attire either. She just went for the full-on black. Obviously, she's still in mourning about losing the US Championship, which I do hope we see get her back on her in the near future. Maybe have her and Zelina Vega facing off at Money in the Bank. You never know. Next up, we had Fraxium taking on DIY. Now, last week, after Fraxium beat the Street Profits in a fantastic match, DIY attacked Motor City Machine Guns and also Fraxium, and they were like, oh, you beat the Street Profits when they were all banged up and not full health because of what we did to them at TLC, which is still match of the year at this moment in time. And with this, Fraxium took it to DIY with some great spots. The majority of the start, probably for the first 5 or so minutes, DIY did control the game, but Fraxium, they got their momentum back, and it went from being a great match to an awesome match. These guys, I've said it before, SmackDown has the best tag team division of the men's at this moment in time. Every single tag team puts in 110% each time. It's not like when you see some of them who are like, oh yeah, I got a pay-per-view match here or whatever. I'll just do a so-so match on TV and I'll really put myself out there on the PLE. No, these guys were never in the ring, 110%, and this match was absolutely incredible. It was actually my match of the show, which is kind of interesting since Rey Fenix was having a match later on in a triple threat, but we'll get to that one after. But with this one, Fraxium is showing the world that they can hang with the best in the world, and I absolutely loved it. And when they kicked it into second gear, like I said, it went from great to awesome. Fraxium did get the win, and straight afterwards, obviously, DIY beat him down, but Motor City Machine Guns came on out, helped Fraxium, and they got DIY to basically retreat to the back, which was great to see. But before our next match, we actually had Fraxium bump into the Street Profits backstage. And we've got a tag team title showdown next Friday on SmackDown. The Street Profits against Fraxium. That match there is going to be absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait for it. After that announcement, we had Wade Barrett talking with R-Truth backstage about what happened at Backlash when John Cena put R-Truth through the table with an FU, not an AA, with an FU. Come on, guys. And with this, it was one of the best and funniest interviews we've actually seen for a long time. We all know that when R-Truth is given a mic, he is just so funny, and everything he comes out with is just gold. Like I said before, I would love to see R-Truth and Chelsea Green just hanging around each other for a couple of minutes backstage every show. It would be absolutely hilarious. With this though, obviously we saw that this was coming about 2-3 weeks ago before Backlash, when we saw the R-Truth had the sign John Cena rules and John Cena my hero, and we all know that R-Truth's childhood hero is John Cena. Well, with this, R-Truth went through all the slogans. Never give up. Your time is now. And it was absolutely hilarious the way R-Truth was just going on with these slogans, and Wade Barrett just looking at him like, he put you through a table. How are you doing this? Why are you still supporting him? And we knew all this was going to happen, and Saturday night's main event next week, we actually have John Cena against R-Truth. Now with this match, obviously, I don't think it'll be a squash match, but it's not going to be like a 20-minute banger. It's just not going to be. And R-Truth was like, this isn't the John Cena we all know and love. I'm going to have to beat some sense back into him. And with that, I was like, oh, R-Truth's finally getting serious. But we don't want this guy to get serious. R-Truth is the comedy genius. You know, just look at what he was doing with the 24/7 title. Look when he made Brock Lesnar actually break on live TV. It was absolutely amazing. Every single time this guy goes out, his job is to make someone go, ha! And he does it with ease. But next Saturday, like we said, R-Truth, John Cena, Saturday night main event. It'll be an interesting, but I do think a funny match. After the R-Truth segment, we actually had Carmelo Hayes taking on Aleister Black in a rematch from last week. Sadly though, this ended in a no contest and was pretty quickly over again. And the way this was done, The Miz got involved, so it does seem that they actually are setting up either Aleister Black against The Miz or The Miz against Carmelo Hayes, more than likely at Money in the Bank. It wasn't an exciting match, but it was a very entertaining match. And seeing how that The Miz seems to be suited for like a Laurel and Hardy or the Three Stooges type of manager for anyone, there's something there for the future when The Miz does retire from in work, in the ring that is. And I think it's going to be a bit more chaotic for him if he does just go the way of being a manager. A bit like how Paul Bearer was. You know, he was always there with The Undertaker or the King, you know, into the King, with King, until like, you know, the early 2000s. It was always fun to see. But with this match, they didn't really get any steam going. Like I said, it was pretty over very quickly, and it ended with Aleister Black giving The Miz Black Mass. After The Miz took Black Mass, we actually saw Alexa Bliss backstage at the start of giving an interview before she walked off because she saw Charlotte Flair. And she went up to her and said, "Have you thought about it?" And Flair's like, "What, us being friends? No." She went, "Not that, the other thing." And I think something is brewing there that Alexa Bliss may go with Charlotte Flair, or, just off the top of my head here, Charlotte Flair, she is in need of some reinvention of herself. What if she joined the Wyatt Six? That could work very, very well. It really could. But as we were waiting outside of Nick Aldis's office, Julia came on out, and Nick Aldis introduced Julia to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, saying she's now a new SmackDown roster talent. So it looks like Julia won't be on Raw anymore, with Roxanne Perez going against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and all of them. But I'm happy she's on SmackDown, but I do wish she could have stayed with Roxanne Perez and just go back and forth, a bit like how we've seen, you know, Charlotte Flair with her little stooges in the back when she's always got someone with her, Nia Jax with Tiffany. I really do think Julia could have done some great work on SmackDown, but on Raw is where she would be the best. That's what I think anyway. But going up next, we actually had Drew McIntyre get in the ring, and he actually confirmed the announcement that he will be taking on Damian Priest inside a steel cage at Saturday night's main event next week, which I can't wait for that event. It seems to be building up to be a good night. And here in the UK, if you are going to be watching Saturday night main event, it's all on YouTube, right here on this platform, which is absolutely insane to even think, but also a fantastic thing to see. Now we get into our men's triple threat qualifier match for Money in the Bank, which was Solo Sikoa facing Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso. The match was very entertaining, but it was also very predictable, and we all knew exactly where this was going because of the start of the show. All three of these guys got the time to shine a little bit, but the match was in Solo Sikoa's hands the entire time. Solo did get the win with the Samoan Spike on Rey Fenix, but after the bell, LA Knight came on down and started attacking JC and Jacob Fatu. Nick Aldis came out to stop everything as LA Knight was in the middle of the ring with a chair, and he said, "Right now, LA Knight, you are facing JC Mateo right now, next." And the match went ahead as scheduled. So, Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo, took on LA Knight, and it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't exactly a great match. It was over pretty quickly as well. Like we've seen kind of a few of the matches tonight, they have been really quickly ended. But with this one, JC took control of the match the majority of the time, and whenever LA Knight was able to get a little bit of momentum going forward, JC would just show his strength and take out Knight. This wasn't a squash match, because if it was, it would have been over a lot quicker than what it actually did, but LA Knight shouldn't have had to job to JC in this kind of way. I think it would have been better if JC's first match was a proper, advertised going in, "Oh, look guys, we got this match coming on, our new signing, our new WWE talent, Jeff Cobb, now known as JC Mateo for some strange reason." he's going to be facing LA Knight this week or next week. And if they promoted it, I think it would have gone over a lot better. Because if you look online and a lot of reviews for this, everyone's like, well, that was a pretty dumb first match to have in WWE for someone who was one of the biggest free signing agents in the world. But we don't know how this is going to pan out. Maybe these two will fight again next week or the week after or whatever, Money in the Bank, who knows. But with this, obviously, JC got the 1-2-3 in the win, but LA Knight shouldn't have had to job to JC. It should have been more competitive than what it was. Last but not least, folks, was our main event of the evening. And it was Nia Jax in a rematch taking on Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. It was a very solid and entertaining match, actually. I actually really did like this match. There was something missing from it overall, but I can't really put my finger on it. There was a couple of great spots, like this one by here where Nia Jax Samoan dropped Tiff through the announce table, which the table didn't actually break, so that must have been a little bit on the old painful side for Tiffany Stratton. But going forward, it was a nice change of pace for these two. Nia actually tried using a chair against Tiffany Stratton, which Tiffany drop-kicked it back into Nia Jax, and obviously the steel chair came into play because we had Naomi making her way down with the steel chair. Obviously, Jade Cargill came on out to stop her from getting involved with the chair, which worked, and it was interesting. There was one moment when Naomi tried to swing in the chair at Jade Cargill, and it's like she missed, but Jade didn't have to move. You know, it was a bit like, oh, duck the chair shot, but when she did it, it was nowhere near her, and it looked very out of place. But we are seeing a lot of that, actually, in the last couple of months, where WWE camera guys, they're getting angles and they're staying on them when you're seeing that moves are not connecting, they're not hitting, and it's like, what are you doing? You know, change angle straight away or something. But for some unknown reason, they're keeping all this in. Who knows, maybe this is to go with what Triple H said the other day, that they're not going to change crews for certain events. But overall, though, SmackDown, as I said at the start, it was all over the place and it was very muddled. There was a couple of great moments, couple of great segments, but overall, though, SmackDown for me just gets a good rating, I think, of 7.5 out of 10. It seemed to be like, right, okay, a lot of the stuff we wanted to do has been changed. It's almost like a lot of the stuff came up on the spot. But fingers crossed, though, going forward, you know, we got the Street Profits taking on Fraxium next week for the tag titles. We got Saturday night's main event next week as well. John Cena against R-Truth, McIntyre against Priest in a steel cage, and we also got Logan Paul against Jey Uso, but we also got the tag team match. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker against CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Guys, let us know what you thought about SmackDown down below, and I will see you soon.